Hey Sam, good to see
Likewise.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. So Sam is the CMO of Remix. He's also the creator of the Gamified Show, which talks about Web3 gaming, and he's the co-founder of Wolves DAO, which is a community of founders and participants also around Web3 gaming. So good to
That's
see you,
great.
man.
Yeah, thanks so much for investing in Remix, first and foremost. I appreciate that.
For your money.
Of course. No, you guys are crushing it. I was curious, even just like a personal one on you, Sam. 5 billion views on YouTube.
Sorry,
How
what?
how did you get that?
Yeah,
What?
I actually have to update that number. We're over seven now, but I'm less involved. So I was like maybe at five. I put the pause on it. But yeah, me and my brother created the most successful dance channel on YouTube from like 2010 to 2020 basically. And so we just completely dominated that niche until TikTok and COVID really threw a wrench into sort of like the way that we were approaching it. And I've never been a dancer. My brother was always the face. I was like the analytics, the videography guy, etc. And then I decided to move out of dance and eventually into gaming, which has always been my passion. And it's been super fun to be able to now be able to work with so many gaming founders. My show is a panel based gaming centric show, so we'll have like eight different founders on, all like wrestling with their different points of view. And it's much more aligned with where I wanted to go. But it was super fun, and there's so many parallels between what we discovered on YouTube and sort of figured it out in that edgy startup culture before anybody took creators seriously and there was any money in it at all, and then eventually getting to like 2020 where it was becoming one of the best funnels for distribution in the world. Period. It was a fun ride.
Yeah, I thought gaming was dead. I mean, if you hang out
Incredible.
on the timeline, gaming is dead. And even
Yeah.
outside of Twitter, like I think you can, there's been yeah, the whole narrative, I think, is that whether it's sort of AAA games all the way down to sort of casual games and apps on your iPhone, there's no money to be made in gaming unless you're maybe a very small developer and able to somehow break through. You obviously take the other side on that.
I do, yes. Yeah, I think it's very cyclical. It's been said a bunch of times, but COVID, obviously, like everybody came inside and we had this giant pump in everything revolving around gaming, and now we're sort of working our way backwards from that. And I think it's a natural sort of shakeout. We're also seeing there's a really interesting report going around the last couple of weeks where gaming apps on phones are actually losing monetization share to like health apps and things that are more well-rounded that they used to be, because we have all these other things like Apple Watches and stuff that make the data more interesting, and you want to get the subscription so that you can get your sleep timer and whatever. And so it's gaming is fighting for its spot in entertainment in a lot of ways. I think at home streaming is another piece where we're not just competing with other gaming apps. Now we're competing with Netflix and Hulu and Prime and HBO Max and TikTok and all these things. And I was talking to somebody. I think it was Gabe from Machine Zone who famously exited it with over $1 billion, but was a performance marketing guru. And he was like, back then, like entertainment was all you did on your phone. It was gaming. That was it. And now it's like there's 100 different apps, and so I think it's really important, and that's why we approach it Remix as like a social media with that rapid discovery and stuff, because we don't want to have our users churn because they're bored really for even a second.
And maybe before we get it, we should probably clearly articulate what it is that you're building here before we get too lost in the sauce here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so what we're building is essentially the TikTok for games is the easiest way to understand it. That isn't consuming videos about games; it's actually consuming the games themselves. So all the games are in a vertical format. You swipe to discover the next game. But the important piece on the other side is it also enables you to make your own games. So Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat, part of the reason they were successful is because they actually enabled video creators to make better videos by virtue of filters and different sorts of tools to edit and stuff like that. And we do the same thing for games. So if you've never created a game in your life, you've never coded a single line of code, you should still be able to use our tools to create your own game, distribute it on our platform, and then eventually monetize it on our platform as well.
Fascinating. One would think that vibe. I mean, like this is my initial gut sense. Like vibe coded games like aren't like can't be very good. Are they actually fun?
I would love if anybody that's listening that feels that way to download the app and you tell me. I am an extremely harsh critic of video games. I've been a gamer for 30 years. I tried to be a pro gamer for a while, and there's really only maybe 10 or 15 games throughout my life that I've like really sunk hours into. But I can say on Remix, we have 1,500 games live on the platform now. I bet there's three or 400 that I've gone back and played multiple times or like wanted to send to a friend because I thought they would enjoy it. And I think that that's a pretty good ratio. Like most content on YouTube and on TikTok isn't worth watching. But if you can get 10% of all content to actually be worthy of going viral and getting that natural organic distribution, then I think you've found a really successful sort of formula for constant user generated content that's always fresh. And the fact that we're finding that success while the tools are still super rudimentary and honestly a bit difficult to use, which I know will disappear in the future, I think that we're off to even better start than we expected to be at.
I'm curious what like it feels like every time there's a
Just
new
fascinating.
platform, um, defining a new category or type of game seems to be like the big opportunity here. So I'm assuming there are certain features or approaches or gameplay styles that actually really work well in this medium. I'm curious what you guys have learned there.
That's a fantastic question. Yeah. So one of the big focuses for us is like, how do we get those asynchronous multiplayer games trending again? Because they were so helpful for apps early on. Like I on my show, Paul Bettner comes on frequently, and he's the founder of Words with Friends. And so it was such a viral mechanic for them to basically be like, hey, you want to play against somebody? They literally don't even put AI on the platform. You have to send it to a friend if you want to have somebody play with you or just to play the game at all. And so we're doing the same thing. We're currently in the process of enabling our community to make really potent versions of like chess and battleship and words with friends and tic-tac-toe and checkers and stuff like that, so that hopefully they'll onboard their friends. And then once you take your turn, what do you do next? Hopefully you swipe through some games and get to enjoy it. But I think that in general, what you're touching on is one of the things I'm the most excited about, which is I believe the future of gaming is what I call genre bending. Like if you look at music and movies, like it used to be like it's an action movie. It has Arnold Schwarzenegger and he's like killing aliens or whatever. But now it's like an action thriller comedy, right? Music is like it used to be hip hop, but now it's like hip hop, jazz, funk, and like a little bit of pop. And it's become really muddy of like how do you actually categorize these things? And gaming is really slow to adopt that, mostly because in order to get funding for games, you have to be like, well, here's the target addressable market. Here's 3 games that have performed well in the category. You guys know better than anybody. And so I think whenever you remove all the checks and balances that have to go into it and all the people that have to say, yes, this is a good game that we can definitely get our return on investment in, I think what you'll find is like a massive unleashing of creativity where people take 2 or 3 genres, stick them together, and it just is like heaven for dopamine.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because you lean into the ephemerality of it. It's not like you're spending tens of millions of dollars in years creating AAA games where you expect someone to play it for months and months. You have someone play a game maybe a few times, but maybe that's okay just because the amount of content is continuously getting created, and I think there's a cohort of users that actually want that experience.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I think again, TikTok becomes a great model. Like, how often do you go back and watch the same video a second time? Uh, Almost never. I know I have hundreds of videos bookmarked, most of which I've never watched a
Me
second
too,
time, even though
brother.
I told myself I wanted to. I think if we can get people to play a game, a few times and they really like it, that'd be great. If we could get a couple of people to like play 100 times and really enjoy it and try to get the top spots on those leaderboards, that's great. But if we can get several million people to play it once, just like several million people might watch the same TikTok, I think we've met gaming where it needs to be for moving into the future and being on a vertical device that everybody has in their pocket. So I'm super optimistic about that. The question becomes, how do we monetize, right? And how do our builders get rewarded for that? And we have tons of ideas how to do that. We're rolling out monetization, our first iteration of it, I should say, soon. But if you talk to anybody in the mobile games industry, they all recognize that it's like something that very much needs to be tweaked and adjusted, and you need to test a lot of different things. And so we're super excited to begin that journey and hopefully get some amazing stories where, game creators are able to pull in 5 or 6 figures on something that otherwise would have just been a hobby or a side project.
can you dive into how you're thinking about that? Because I think social media, if you're using that as sort of the comp, like, it's notorious for creators not really making a ton of money unless you're like in the very, very top percentile of successes there. And most of that money is being made off platform, frankly. And so, yeah, what's the how do I get paid if I come and invest my creative energy in your platform?
Yeah, so in this case, TikTok is a pretty painful comparison because the way that they sort of bootstrapped after they purchased Musically, which is a platform me and my brother were on super early, they actually had like I think it's a 600 or $800 million creator fund. And so basically, whenever you were in that circle, it was like all of our creator friends were just gold rushing to TikTok to like make the next viral video and hopefully get these huge, enormous, unsustainable payouts. And we think that we're actually in a more interesting position. Like, if you are a creator, what are the options that you have as a video creator? It's like you can kind of sell merch, you can have like your own shop, do the feastables sort of strategy. You could sell external brand sponsorships. So, like, we did some with Hershey's and Samsung and the NFL and stuff like that. But really, outside of that, like, there isn't a lot. And I think that gaming actually presents a much more interesting alternative, which is you can actually just have your own shop in the game and monetize literally whatever you want. And it's your job to do it in a way that the people enjoying your experience are not off put by it. And we have our own platform side monetization that we're hoping to do, and then we'll give some of that back to the creators that obviously are creating the content for the platform. But really, what we hope happens is if we give people enough tools to basically make their own monetization strategy, we hope that they figure it out for each of their individual games. For instance, there are some games that actually have a lot of replayability. So if you guys know Vampire Survivors or the Survivors like genre, it's been super popular over the last 5 or 6 years. Um, Somebody made a game called Pixel Survivors, and it's got over 30,000 hours played in it, and a lot of that is from repeat players. And so they have, I think, 12 characters now, and you can imagine that, maybe the first four or two are free, and then each additional character is like $1 purchase or like 10 cents or something like that. And at scale, that becomes an exorbitant amount of money. Another comp would be like Candy Crush. Candy Crush, the way that they make their money is two things. They like gate levels and they sell like energy. So if you want to keep trying the level because you're stuck on it, you could buy more energy to get more attempts, or you can get like a bomb to make the level a little bit easier. There's some puzzle games that I think have a lot of staying power. The number one game on the platform actually is called Geo Crush. It was made by one of the founders' sisters of all people. It has over 2 million plays. But because we haven't had save states where you can match your progress and basically say like I'm on level 700, it's like every time you close the app you're done, right? You have to reset
Like the
whenever
good
you
old
reopen
days.
it. Yeah, so we just introduced save states, which we're really excited about because that, in tandem with monetization, opens up the world of things that you would want to replay, things that you would want to repurchase, etc. So yeah, there's a lot of different angles on it, but we're
So like
super excited.
the big unlock, and I guess the crypto angle here is like all of those monetization options become easier when somebody has when you have a wallet and there's some USDC in that wallet or favorite stablecoin, maybe your own
Right.
stablecoin, and
And also for the creator themselves, like, if you look at YouTube or Twitter or whatever, like, payouts take months in a lot of cases, and in crypto you could do like same day, same hour. You can get as aggressive with it as you want. And there's been a lot of I studied psychology for a few years, and one of my favorite things is the effect of instant payouts for people. Like, they did this program in Canada where essentially they would do instant payouts for truckers, where whenever mobile apps started taking off, it was like 2012, they had a mobile app where you would literally see the dollar sign going up every time that you would drive another mile in your truck. And it got so bad that they had to ban it from the country because people were staying up for like 50 hours in a row because they just wanted to keep, stacking up that monetization. And they instituted all these regulations and rules around you
Wow.
have to take this many hours of sleep and rest and stuff like that. And so I think whenever we utilize those things to create a better end user experience, hopefully that means that they just want to spend more time creating awesome games and therefore earning a lot of money.
yeah, interesting. Um, you got anything else here, Dimitri? I feel I mean I have a question for you, which is like, what gave you the confidence to go step into gaming here? Because it is like, I mean, it's there's just corpses all over the timeline from crypto gaming opportunities.
Exactly. But that's why you lean in. I think for a lot of investors, like it takes brain power, I suppose, to do contrarian bets. And I think the outlier is the exception.
Okay, so what was the
And
brain
I
power though?
think
Like, I
for
think I can agree. Like, okay, I can take the non-consensus bet. That's an easy thing to say, but like, you have to build conviction. It's putting a ton of cash into this thing.
Well, it's two things. So one is to say, how good do we believe these foundational models
Mhm.
are going to get in 3 years? And that was directionally the most obvious thing for us personally. Like the quality is going to be insane. Like there's already demos where these models are generating 3D worlds, and this is today. So that was very obvious. And then it's kind of saying, do we believe that game creation is going to be like content creation? Um, and frankly, like what needs to be on chain? Like, what if it's just like the payment rails and the monetization component? If that's on chain, that's okay. There's going to be a ton of energy around creating content. We didn't touch on like the game jams. I think that was a good example of leaning into like social elements of like how you can lean into groups collaboratively creating like a specific kind of content, and saying that these are just going to get better and better over time. I think we've all seen the screenshots of like Amazon V1 or like Facebook V1. Like it looked not great, but you have to believe that it will get better. And I think that there is strong conviction that the technology under the hood is going to continue to get better.
Yeah, you're not selling digital plots of land out here. It's kind of making a bet on social, making a bet on AI. Um, yeah, I mean, I think new types of media. This is going to be the thing that I think we're going to be all grappling with, not just in games, but I think Sora came out yesterday, and already I'm seeing these videos going around where I'm like, oh shit, like that's like before it was like, oh okay, that's clearly AI, and now I'm like, wait, that's AI,
You
and
gotta squint a
like
little more.
what's that going to do? Like it's going to do something, right? And so yeah, I think it's a fast. I think it is one of those things where there's like the best insights come from just executing in it and figuring it out. And also there's, I feel like I don't know, there seems like there needs to be this balance. Like the deeper you sort of set your roots in a paradigm, in a tech stack, in a framework, the harder it might be to change. And things are changing so fast. So I'm assuming if this was just an AI wrapper to make you make games, it's maybe not an interesting venture investment. But the sort of holistic stack and economic model and cultural shift puts it into a bit of a different bucket.
Totally. But like even saying like something as a rapper isn't particularly bad. Like everything is a rapper at the end of the day. You know, like it's more so like what can you do with that? And I think that's where the product form factor makes a big difference. And we all use Remix daily as a team.
We're,
So I think that was
how do I play your
yeah. I mean,
games, Dimitri? I found like I shared about this interview. I think somebody on your team shared a lovely high school, or university, high school, some old picture of you, and then I immediately put it into ChatGPT to put you on a sailboat. Uh, so I feel like your internal Slack might be a fun place to hang out if there's remix games ripping around in there too. Uh,
we have a lot going on there. We have not made any games yet. That's a great idea. We should do an internal game jam.
Oh, I'd love that. Let us know how we can support. And yeah, if you want to play the games yourself, we actually are just available now on iOS, which is really exciting. The standalone app, in my opinion,
okay.
is the best way to experience it. But part of the way that we bootstrapped our growth was using mini apps on different ecosystems. So we started on Farcaster, expanded to World app, Telegram, and now we're on the Base app as well. And we're basically the number one gaming app on all of them except for Telegram, obviously, which has some absolutely insane numbers out
How many
there.
people are using it in? Like, how do you guys? What's growth look like right now?
Yeah, so we have 750,000 users total. Obviously, not all DAU or anything like that, but we're really excited with the growth that we found so far, and we're working now to scale up performance marketing and stuff. But we wanted to first make sure that the app is sticky and bug free and stuff like that before we put too much money into it. But we're really excited to start that as well. And part of it too is getting monetization on the platform and knowing what a user is worth before you start throwing money into the sun. So it's all in tandem.
Sam, we'll leave it there, man. Appreciate you hopping on. If you could just DM me some of your old dancing videos so I can see what you're
Yeah,
talking
sure.
about there, that would be a lot of fun for me. And yeah, Dimitri, if you guys go build some games, I mean, I'm going to give this a download. I think it coming to iOS would be my preferred way of interacting with it, I think. So appreciate you hanging out, man. Looking forward to see where you guys are at in a couple months.
Yeah, thanks for having me, boys. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Cheers.